I didn't think through that bit. Hello. You may have noticed I'm not your usual George Grothier.
Wow.
This week, George is busy doing his weekly rewatch of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, so he could not make it. So I'm here instead. And as you may guess from the title, we haven't decided what we're going to call this one yet. We are here to talk about Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. We all watched that in the last week or so. So I think I got to start with the traditional first question. What'd you guys think?
Nice.
Wow. It's funny. I was sort of like realizing going into it, I think this is like the first Transformers movie. Like it's definitely the first I've seen in theaters, and it's also possibly the first full one that I've seen maybe since the first one. I don't even fully know if I've watched the entirety of the first one or not. But still, so
You've only seen the first Transformers movie?
The first Transformers movie ends with Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf kissing on a car. That's all I remember.
That is
And Lincoln Park, right?
Yep.
yeah,
Yes.
I think that's right. Yeah.
That's when humanity
Yeah.
peaked.
And it's like I will be watching.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
make
Voyager
sure.
from Optimus Prime is another important part of that.
Yeah,
Make
and
sure everyone knows the Autobots are watching.
I've heard only good things about Bumblebee. I don't know
Bumblebee is actually good.
That's the
I've
best
actually
one for sure.
I've actually seen all of them. Fun fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you, Max. I watched 4 of them on the plane, but they're always on the plane.
That still counts.
And I think this one falls squarely into the bucket for me, at least, of this is a Transformers movie.
Yeah.
Right. It's like I don't go in expecting it to be some masterpiece. I don't expect it to really be anything worse than it is.
Yeah.
And I got exactly what I walked into the theater thinking I would get.
I think
It's big, it's bold, it has lots of loud noises, and the effects are pretty damn good. It's a Transformers movie.
Yeah, I think the forefront or what these movies have always done best is definitely the visual effects. Like, looking at the Wikipedia page for this article, it has the cast divided into humans and robots.
Yep.
Like, if those effects, especially given, like we were talking about this briefly before, that they always seem to be going to these weird historical places or in big cities, like there's going to be a lot of destruction, some of which you can do practically, but a lot of which you have to do digitally. Like obviously you can't have.
I think they should have actually blown up Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a good idea.
It's genuinely surprising that they
just go full Christopher Nolan.
No, Christopher Nolan would have built a second Machu Picchu
and then blew. That's true.
Which they probably would have had the budget for. So you're right, Ben. Kind of cowardly.
Yeah, they should have just
do it.
Unbelievable. Yeah. But yeah, I think it was the last one, right? That had, and the last one does sort of tie into it, I think.
Well, okay.
The last one was the last
5 are like kind of separate.
Yeah.
Bumblebee and this one are basically 1 and 2.
Yeah, they're like soft reboots.
Yeah.
Well, it's just confusing for me because I feel like the last one, Earth was Unicron.
Yes.
And that's what they established, and Stonehenge was like part of it or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when I watch this one, I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I don't understand. This is more confusing than the Halloween
the
universe.
Moment Unicron showed up and it wasn't from the Earth, I was like, all right, okay. Here's where we are, and then I just kind of suspended all disbelief. I was like, all right.
That's why they said in the past. They're like, well, we really screwed up with Unicron. Everybody likes Unicron.
I was so disappointed that they didn't get Orson Welles to come and reprise the role as Unicron. Sorry, I had to.
I'm sure ChatGPT could have done it. I would say, when I initially watched it, I didn't quite realize or remember that this was basically a soft reboot. So there's a lot of discontinuity with the previous film, like immediately. The Last Night, but then the other 5 before that, except for Bumblebee. But once you take it as basically Bumblebee and this are the only 2, the continuity stuff pretty much goes away, I think. And
I think the only thing that's weird with the continuity is that they're the same. Like Optimus Prime is the same character. Bumblebee even has this voice issue. It's like so hard to disconnect it because they're literally the same.
I wanted to talk about this at some point, and Optimus Prime goes through like a real character arc. I think for the first time in a Transformers movie, he's basically, I mean, he's kind of
Yeah.
he altered a little bit from movie 1 to movie 5, but
Yeah.
like he starts this one being distrustful and paranoid of humans and not wanting to talk to them and looking out selfish for Autobot interests and
I feel like
caring about
I
humans.
like
they
that.
took his arc
Yeah.
in every single Transformers movie before and just put them together. Because I feel like he's like intense trust of humans, and like the third one, they're all like going against the Transformers, and he's like, oh yeah, I hate all these people, you know, I can't trust humans. So I feel like they just put it all
But I think
together.
they did it well. Like it makes sense.
No, it's completely
Yeah.
fine.
Especially when you take into account, like he come in Bumblebee in 1989, or I guess it was 87, because he said they were stuck there for 7 years, and this movie takes place in 94.
Yeah.
So you think?
Oh, can I also tell you guys something? I gotta tell you guys something just because you'll get a kick out of this. So to show my like lack of full knowledge on Transformers, when they were showing the opening scene with the Maximals, and they had the moment where like the one gorilla says, it's like, now you're the leader, Optimus Primal. I legit was like, oh my gosh, did Optimus Prime used to be a gorilla before he came to Earth and then became a car?
I think you guys are missing the best name, which is the guy who told the old leader's name was Ape Link. Ape Link. Are you kidding me? Someone named it that. And they even put it with a Q instead of a K. It's like, okay, oh yeah, sure, that definitely makes it better.
I did not catch that one. I did.
I didn't either.
The guy said it, and I'm like, I have to look this up. What did he just say? There's no way.
So that's Declan's new favorite one.
It's a good one.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal was a little awkward.
Yeah. I legit like, but I guess they sort of justified it. And I was like, oh, I'm named after the great warrior Optimus Prime. But
And also it being that Optimus Prime is like older than Primal, even though on Earth wasn't that like 65 million years ago? Like I don't know, it was a long time ago.
I forget how long. I don't think they said.
Oh no, it wasn't 65. I'm thinking of a trailer that I saw before.
Yeah, well, that was also in Last Night or Age of Extinction. I've conflate those two because they're both terrible and the same. But they did like Transformers Kill the Dinosaurs was one of the like the opening model. That was Age of Extinction. Transformers killed the dinosaurs. They shot something down there.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Which one was Merlin owned the Transformer Dragon?
That was
that one was the worst Transformers of all time.
Oh my God, it was
with
so
Anthony Hopkins. They just wanted to make.
They paid for Anthony Hopkins and they put him in that shit.
They just wanted the fancy British man to say Megatron as many times as they could make him.
Dude, I can only imagine how much they had to pay Anthony Hopkins to be in a movie of that quality.
It's like honestly, it's like impressive when you think about it.
It is.
That's true. That is very true.
Yeah. And it performed. Like I had seen there was some like concerns about attendance issues, but Transformers did make the most money of all its opening weekend. Outperforming Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I have not seen yet, but I am told it is a much better movie.
Yeah.
I feel like Transformers.
Were it not for this episode, I would have just gone and seen Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
That's honestly a good point because Across the Spider-Verse is really good.
As I said, I've never tried to see like the last 4 or 5 Transformers or however many there have been. But I watched every single one of them on the plane because they're just everywhere. They're very popular. It's very easy watching. It's like
it's not.
You can put it on and turn your brain off.
Yeah.
And it's not like Marvel or something where it's like so many different connecting things or any type of franchise like that. Well, it feels like the only thing similar is you got some robots and sometimes John Turturro shows up.
Oh my God, John Turturro is so
there had been a little bit of continuity between those previous 5, but yeah, you're right, not as much.
But you can enjoy them like by themselves. It's not like
I think so.
You need to like figure out the plots.
I was excited to be on this because I was big into Transformers growing up. I think I have seen I think all of them in theaters except for Bumblebee, which I saw on a plane.
Perfect.
I think that's probably the best Transformers. It's the most creative
It's
and
really
original.
good.
Unfortunately, the one I
yet, but I
remember the
want to.
least. But
It is good.
I think I'd like to go back
Yeah.
on it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Transformers were, yeah, it was they were a big interest of mine growing up, and I mean still kind of are. Like I think I am probably going to go see these movies. Hopefully they get a little better.
Yeah.
I wish they would do one where they just leave Earth and do like they did in the TV shows. It's like the war for Cybertron.
Yeah, I think
It's like, yeah, who cares about the humans?
I would love that because I think Transformers work best as like they were brought here by accident for one reason, and you know they in a TV show you have a bunch of ongoing little battles with the Decepticons or whatever, but eventually they go back. I wonder what's kept them. Well, do you think what's kept them from doing that is either budget concerns because doing it CGI with probably some humans still makes that more cost prohibitive?
I imagine it's probably the concern of the budget, which is if you did Cybertron, you're literally doing CGI on CGI on CGI.
Yeah.
Might as well do an animated film at that point.
Yeah.
It would essentially be an animated film, but I imagine the designs of the Transformers are like complex enough that like maintaining it would be a true difficulty.
Well, it's even if it's not a difficulty, the money aspect that would cost so much money.
Yeah.
Doing an entirely CGI film.
I would love to see a War for Cybertron movie where it's you know maybe a prequel to all of this where you know before Bumblebee had lost his voice they're all still fighting
which we actually get a little bit in Bumblebee. We get a little bit of his real voice, which is really cool. So I think you're absolutely right. That'd be an interesting project.
I will say I really did enjoy he's used sparingly in this movie because he's like half dead for most of it. But I did like they chose some good movie quotes to use for him. Especially They Live. I came here to kick ass is what he says, but the original lines, I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I think probably the funniest line of the movie, and maybe the funniest line of the last three movies, was when I forget what quip he says, and then Optimus goes, I don't want you going to that drive-in movie theater anymore. That's very funny.
There
are a few good, it seemed like there were a few good moments, and then there were some like really cliche moments. I wish they would have, I don't know, I mean, maybe it's tough to do. It seemed like they had like 6 different writers. I looked at the screenwriters, there's 6 different ones. So I imagine that's what accounts for the disconnect and some of the feeling of the writing. Because sometimes it feels like really quippy and like smart, and sometimes it just feels like generic blockbuster schlock.
So I feel like since we haven't mentioned him, I feel like we should bring him up. What about what do you guys think of Anthony Ramos as what's his character?
Noah Ramirez.
Noah. What do you guys think of him as Noah?
That's fine.
Look, they're literally carbon copies of each other. You could take any of these protagonists from any movies.
He's a bit more of a badass than any of the other ones, but they had to do that because of the ending, which I'm sure we're going to talk about in a little bit. But, I mean,
but they sort of function. They're interchangeable. They function for the same role. I think he did great with what he was given. It's not like he was given that much.
They're supposed to be like surrogates for the best of humanity and stuff like that. So pretty easy.
I'm hoping he'll be in the next one, if only so they can skip past the first act being, wait, there's alien robots on Earth? What?
I'm sort of.
There's only so many times they can do that. Let's be honest.
I feel like it's almost like they that's. I'm almost like that's gotta be what they're planning.
I feel like the next film has got to be Transformers and G.I. Joe versus Cobra, and it just becomes a kaiju battle between Transformers and some robot that Cobra.
And then out of nowhere, Godzilla appears.
All
right. So now that Max has kind of
just got
the elephant in the room, I don't know what happened in your guys' theater, but in mine, everyone laughed as the credits started to roll.
Really?
Well,
I-
it was kind of silent for me, but I did laugh.
I did actually do. I
Doug
was
Stamper
like,
shows
wow.
up.
I was surprised. I was like,
Yeah.
like so
because Declan, in case you had forgotten, because it's been however long since you'd seen that first one, there is a government agency established that deals with specifically Transformers or extraterrestrials on Earth called Sector 7. So I at least was expecting that business card to say that on it.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't expecting it to be a reveal.
G.I. Joe is the bigger name.
Me.
Yeah,
they want to make a franchise with G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes
which
sense.
I can't blame them. Like,
I mean,
bring
I
back
will.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah, I will certainly be entertained. Like, I'm definitely going to see that movie if and when they make it. It seems like from some of the articles I've seen that they don't necessarily have a plan, which is not shocking. I would be more shocked at this point if the people running Transformers did have a plan.
Yeah.
They just now they just tie they just bring up the GI Joes and they're like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like yeah, they even say like, hey, we'd love to see, the Transformers help us with G.I. Joe. It's like, what is Cobra Commander gonna do? That's not fair, man.
Well, I mean, he would clearly team up with Megatron.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious if they just released it as a YouTube video of like the Cobra people show up and then Optimus just guns them down.
And they make it out of Legos. So that would be funny.
I'm now suddenly thinking of the community episode that takes place in G.I. Joe, where Jeff as a G.I. Joe kills a member of Cobra, and it causes just a deep existential crisis for the entire organization because that never happened.
I did want to bring up something that I found interesting. In the beginning of the movie, it really seemed like they were trying to set up a plot of capitalism. He gets his bill, he can't pay for his hospital bills at the hospital. He's getting screwed over by, the army and stuff like that because he wants to take care of his family. And then you got, what's his name? Ray, the guy who wanted cable and gets him to steal a car.
Yeah.
Where he keeps saying stuff like, I'm trying to just protest the vampiric capitalist nature. I'm like, I would love for the 6 or 7 star Transformers movie from Hasbro Toys to go full on.
That has made $1 billion.
Admittedly,
so
I don't know what this is in defense of. I do feel like him saying that was more of a slightly comedic.
No, I get that it was played as a joke, but the beginning definitely had all of the background to properly do that.
Sponsored by Twizzlers.
That is true. That is true. I think
it's talking about that the rich white people are they won't even notice this. All right, just pretend like it's charity. I guess they sort of drop it after Transformers.
To Peru is arguably continuing the theme, but except
if you think about it, also Unicron works because he's an imperialist overlord coming for the resources and things.
And just
you could have done it.
How
just too much of a coward to fully follow through.
I can't believe that the Transformers franchise did not go on a hardline Marxist stance.
It's the woke Transformers movement.
That would have been the best thing. It would have been like Matrix Resurrections, though.
I gotta be real. I actually cannot imagine Transformers. I know there must exist some form of it, but I cannot imagine Transformers existing in a Marxist story.
Well, I'll Google that once we're done, and if I find anything, I'll link it in the description.
Thank you.
You know what? Going back to previous movies, which briefly I wanted to mention that this is the first one that doesn't feature the Decepticons at all. I don't believe.
Oh
yeah. No Megatron.
But also that Megatron has kind of viewed the humans as insects workers to be used and stomped on, which you could twist that into a Marxist thing if you wanted.
That's true.
But yeah,
Wow.
no, anyway, no Decepticons in this one. No Megatron. Nary a Megatron to be found.
That was surprising. That was honestly like,
Yeah, I feel like Scourge just. I mean, he's literally the same.
Yeah.
It's like you're useless, you're inferior beings. What he says to Optimus Prime.
I think the way it was characterized in the movie was a little unclear whether or not they were like captured and enslaved by Unicron, or whether they had.
The way that I got it was they had read a lot of Fantastic Four, and Scourge is literally Silver Surfer. He literally searches for the transwarp
have any
key.
sympathetic like aspects to it.
Well, yeah, I mean, aside from that, but he says like he literally agreed to be his like herald because he killed everyone else on his world and killed his entire race. That's what they said, at least. So I viewed it. I mean, even like him coming through. Obviously, it's the same for the comics, but I thought, yeah, it was sort of just like, yeah, a non very deep character, like the Herald, but he was just sort of. I'm looking out for myself.
Yeah, I did love his introduction though. I thought him like collecting those badges was an awesome.
That was cool.
Touch.
Yeah, it was cool.
And I think Peter Dinklage did a good job as the voice, or like as good a job as you.
Yeah, he was menacing.
Oh, was that Peter Dinklage? I didn't realize. Oh wow! Oh wow! Actually,
I think I did get a little bit like I don't know why, but I think it's partially his design, partially his like lower voice, but I just kept thinking of Ultron from Age of Ultron.
I see what. Yeah,
very
his face. I think especially kind of did resemble
his face, and the way they just kept
hands.
Yeah, and he just kept talking about how everyone was an inferior being.
Yeah, it's true.
Just like so insulted when somebody would fight him.
He's a weak, effeminate debutante. That's my favorite line.
But I thought he was entertaining. He did his job well.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Well, we talked about the ending. Shall we talk about the final act, battle humans and Autobots and
I'm totally blanking on it. So first, like the car that Noah drives is RC, right? Or no, who is
Mirage.
it?
No, Mirage.
Mirage. Thank you. Is Mirage dead?
No.
Oh, did you not stay for the
survive? Yeah, they had
I'm trying to. I thought I did. Wait, what was
the mid-credit scene? Is Noah has rebuilt Mirage in his
right. Duh. Sorry.
They play it real fast and loose with life and death in the Transformers universe. It's pretty much anytime, because remember, Bumblebee also died in Bumblebee.
It was kind of
Bumblebee
funny
has died at everything, and then he's come back.
It's like, oh man, he's on this thing, but we need like a energy the size of a hydrogen bomb.
Yeah,
did they intentionally bury him on Energon? I don't.
Yeah,
I didn't really understand.
Optimus might as well have literally just hand waved as he was giving that speech, because it's like, yeah, he'll be back by the end. We know, we saw a lot of boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta stop this trend in movies where it's like, obviously the character who's gonna appear later is not dead.
Yeah, it's like,
especially if you're carrying him.
Stop insulting my intelligence here.
Yeah.
I know he's not gonna die.
I know, like. Yeah,
what I will say is I did also feel a little bit like again, since it's the first Transformers I've seen in a while, like, oh shit, Bumblebee died. Oh man, is he really dead? And then they mentioned like,
yeah, I saw him die. I'm like, and then Optimus Prime was getting so upset. I'm like, dude, he's not dead. Relax.
Give him 90 minutes.
Just wait until the end of the movie. He'll be fine.
Optimus Prime was too busy being racist against all humans. It was kind of funny how it was just like, no, I was misjudging humans, and when we should have been working together. That
was one of the most cliche parts of the movie.
Yeah.
That's the facepalm moments.
Like I wish the script for the film was just like overall stronger. That's
what I was saying. I feel like there's strong moments, and the only thing I can think of is there's 6 writers or whatever. You're gonna have periods where one writer is overtaking in terms of the feel and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it probably would have been better if you lowered the writers. At least it would have been one thing rather than alternating between like pretty good writing and just whatever generic.
I thought the like, as cliche as the Optimus like, oh, we got to work together now, was the moment of the Maximals revealing that they'd been living with, I don't know if it was specifically living with the Inca their whole run, or at least for the last couple hundred years, was a very cool moment, because I think
No, I think they did mention it, because what was her name? Elena said like she was mentioning some old Inca thing.
Oh yeah,
she's like, yeah, we're not gonna take credit for that, but we're here to like
it was like
inspire
wow,
them or whatever.
They undid the ancient aliens thing there. Props movie.
Yeah, and I guess there's a little bit of an Eternals vibe too, of they just let the Incas get conquered by the Spanish.
Oh no.
Yeah, we can't interfere, all right.
Oh, listen, Atahualpa had it coming.
That is actually true. I'm suddenly I like, oh my gosh. I mean, I guess the argument is that the tribe they were with was so like small that like maybe it wasn't a part of the.
I believe that they just sort of claimed Swiss citizenship for that moment and said, we're neutral, we take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Sorry, probably the right choice in that.
Yeah.
We gotta go and also make money first. Okay. Take that, Switzerland.
We have to start our own animal bank.
That brought it back to me, that moment in the final fight when the Maximals transform into like people.
That was
like,
weird.
Like,
I was confused. I was like, you seem stronger when you're a gigantic robotic ape. Those things are monsters.
Yeah, I don't like, I guess if they're Transformers, they got to turn into humanoid shapes at some point, but you can't sell the toy if they don't transform. I think that was
that's true. That's true.
But it was a weird moment to do it.
It was a bit odd, because I feel like didn't they already fight like in their non-transformed states?
That was the first time they'd ever transformed.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I can't even remember what they look like.
They saw all the Autobots are like, wait a minute. Are we not doing this right?
Why is he not fighting as a truck?
Yeah.
Yes.
His trucks don't have hands.
You know what? That's the next Transformers movie. The lack of transformation, where they just run at each other in their cars and stuff.
It looks like an incident of road rage. Prime up in Alaska.
They're just using their horns, like, pull over.
It's like the end of the Incredible Hulk days.
It actually looks like the end of Blues Brothers, with all the cop cars just like flipping over, like that. That's what it would look like.
Yep. Let's see, what other moments did we want to mention?
Should I mention
did those cops die?
Oh my god, seconds? Yes, that is what I wanted to say, Ben, is for like overall a pretty good, like, I won't say maturation, but like a pretty good coherent movie. Is some cops definitely died in that car chase.
I'm pretty sure Mirage killed a few cops. He's a cop killer.
Which again fits with the tone of the socialist movie that they're making, but
that one truck that like goes straight into the cop, there's no way he's not dead.
Yeah, or the car I think flips and on its side and like first crashes into a barrier.
Oh my god.
Like, that guy's paralyzed for sure.
I feel like they showed like I feel like there was like an insert there where it showed the cop go like or something like that. So it's sort of
I'm okay.
but
like a sports game. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm sure they were just thinking about how cool it looked, and a lot of moments in that chase were very cool. Like when all the decoy cars popped out, I thought that was really fun.
That was
but that did ultimately lead to a police car driving straight into a concrete barrier.
No, I did think about that when I was watching them.
was only one of the writers was an actual wanted to include anti-capitalist themes.
Yeah. Someone who was very woke in this
the rest just did not get that memo, did not want to do it. So it's like just in a couple of moments.
And he just stuck it in. He's like, yeah, this is just like a fun joke. It has nothing, it doesn't have any alternative meaning. It's just a joke, guys.
Listen,
I don't know what you're talking
cops
about.
Died.
Yeah, but what if we killed like 4 cops, guys, in brutal fashion?
Oh, you mean like Megatron to like no. What if one of the Autobots does it?
But it's like a cool death, you know, like the car like flips like tons of times.
I'm now just envisioning that happening in the writer's room, and I like that's just.
They probably did.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that how Michael Bay made movies? It's like he's not thinking about the characters. He's like, what if this character just died but exploded in this cool way?
I think that's well, he wasn't even. It wasn't even about it was just about the explosion. It's not even about like,
It's
I guess some
the
people would die if he did that, but it's an explosion and it looks cool.
So what's the movie going to be about? I don't know, but there's going to be explosions.
Hey, now, Ambulance only had a few explosions, not many.
That's true. I have yet to see that. I'll have to
Ambulance,
watch it.
I genuinely like.
I heard pretty good things about it.
Yeah, like that's like, and it's a great like contained thing. That's a great Michael Bay movie.
I gotta give
talk about that, and we're not even here to talk about Michael Bay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I gotta give last thing that I probably have to say about this movie is I did enjoy the music. I mean the soundtrack, like the actual music for the movie, is kind of generic Transformers, but I did enjoy it. You're taking a background of 90s, I think it was 94 New York, and they picked tons of hip hop that is exactly from that time, literally from the middle of the 90s.
I think
all New York rappers too.
Yeah, it's a good way to, I think, endear yourselves with some of your audience, especially given that I think a lot of the people who are watching this are probably our age and older, like people who would watch Transformers growing up, or people who are in elementary or middle school when the first movie came out. So would have at least some fondness theoretically for.
And those people are from Brooklyn. Nas is the guy that they used. Nas in A Tribe Called Quest. They used a decent amount of Tribe. I don't know where Q-Tip and Fight Dog are from exactly, but I do know Nas is from Brooklyn. So it made sense, and they also, I think he did an original song that it was very oddly placed in the movie, I have to say. Like at the end when they're doing stuff, that's when they put the original song in, but it's very.
Was it during the? It wasn't during the battle, was it?
It's like when they're closing the portal or something. I can't quite remember. But it felt like an awkward place because the song didn't seem like it was like an ending battle song or whatever. It didn't seem like an action scene song. But aside from that, I don't think the song was bad. I love Nas. I love all the music. So I got to give lots of props to that.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was a good, like, I don't know the music as well as you do, but it definitely set it in the world. For like, I certainly recognize some of the songs. It helped set it like
the era. It's definitely
made it didn't feel.
It's very authentic.
It made it so it didn't just feel like it was in like a random city, but it's like actually in New York City when it was.
I mean, hip hop, especially during the 90s, was very like where you were from was very important, and especially like for Nas. For Tribe Called Quest, for tons of those guys. LL Cool J also from New York. I have to look at when that song was released. I'm sure they did their research, I think.
Would be,
but I feel like that song was later than 94. Don't call it a comeback, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
I think the last thing I wanted to talk about, and it's not a very in-depth topic, I don't think, but just the climax of the movie after Unicron has gotten both halves of the transwarp key, and it like is really presented before he gets them that it's going to be like he's like portal opens, he's here type of thing, but man, did that thing take a long time to close. I think this is probably the most like Yeah, we know what we said the rules are, but the Autobots need to win. Of any of them that we've had. Except maybe when in the last night, which is like all like Autobots Optimus is evil now, and then as soon as he hears Bumblebee, he's like, never mind, I'm a good guy again.
Doesn't Optimus sacrifice himself in that movie too? And then he comes back to life.
Yeah.
He can't die. I don't know why he's like acting like he's sacrificing himself.
No, there has not been a movie character so eager to kill himself. That's not.
He just wants the praise. He knows he's not gonna die. He's like, all right, guys, you go. I'll do this myself. When he damn well knows he's walking away from that without a scratch.
Yeah. Like the very first one when Optimus is like, put the Allspark in my chest. And he's like, no, that'll kill you. Like, what if I just put it in the bad guy's chest and kill him? Oh yeah.
You know,
he's suicidal, guys.
I'll also say I hate to say I do feel like the effects of like Anthony Ramos wearing the Transformer suit. There are moments where I feel like his head looked like it was like just
I think that is actually how they did it, which is they took his head and they put it on their CGI body.
Yeah,
so
that was a weird moment. That felt like a we can just do whatever we want.
Yeah,
and the rules don't matter. Like, I think at least in some of the cartoons that I watched as a kid, like humans had created their own kind of Transformer like suits.
Yeah,
that particular thing was a first.
It was odd. It was very
odd.
It
looked cool.
It was definitely cool.
How Mirage came back from that.
I don't really know how he was dead and managed to do whatever. Also, like, how does it connect? Is it connected to his brain? You know, there are questions.
The spark must have allowed it enough that he could transform himself just enough to do it.
Yeah, just enough for the plot.
Yep.
I will say, last thing that I will mention that sort of goes along with this is they said, like, if you cancel a portal or like break transfer, I don't know, whatever they were talking about. It said it was like 10 nuclear bombs, or like a lot of nuclear bombs going off. Now he destroyed that thing, and that wasn't even one nuclear bomb.
No.
It's like a regular ass Michael Bay explosion.
Yeah, if you can drive away from it, it wasn't a nuclear
bomb. But yeah, no, I definitely agree. The ending was a little.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I mean, the ending was a little cliche. It definitely manufactured a bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think they realized probably far too late, maybe when it premiered, that they would, if it did have the force of 10 nuclear bombs, it would have wiped out the rest of that indigenous population. They're like, oh shit, we can't do that.
Oh yeah, we can't do
genocide, can we? Destroyed the entire continent of South America.
Yeah.
Oh, but wouldn't it be great if they did that and then it's like all, or what do they say? All together, or like nobody at all?
Yeah.
That's really just killed entire race.
Transformers 7: The Road.
Oh god. R.I.P.
Optimus Prime dragging his son in the ashes of a barren
It's just
world.
Optimus and Bumblebee looking for oil.
Oh my god.
The Road's a great book. If your high school English teacher hasn't made you read that yet, read it.
That's how they meet Cade.
That's a good book.
From the other movies.
You know, I actually didn't realize the kid in the movie is Cody Smith McPhee.
Who's that?
He's the guy from Power of the Dog. The kid in Power of the Dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Cody Smith McPhee, the guy in Power of the Dog.
Yeah.
He is the kid in The Road, the movie.
Oh. Sorry,
I thought you were saying the kid in like Noah's
No, he's not.
Because they released it at the same time because Cormac McCarthy likes movies and stuff. But yeah, it was Viggo Mortensen as the father, and then the son is Cody Smith McPhee, like way younger. I had no idea.
Huh. Oh wow.
But yeah.
Can I also admit to you guys one other thing that you'll find funny?
No.
Sure.
In the first millisecond of the film, when it shows the establishing shot of New York City in 1994, I didn't realize that it took place in the 90s. Like, I didn't know that. So I legit was like for a split second, I was like, wait, did Optimus Prime stop 9/11?
Jesus.
for a split second before I realized.
Wait, didn't Al Qaeda have another terrorist attack in like '98 before that? Why didn't you stop that one, Declan?
Yeah, it's the garage.
I think,
Yeah.
assuming they stick kind of in this universe and like delete or ignore the stuff from the first 5, they're gonna have to, like, this one it went 87 to 94. The next one would be 2001 if they do another 7 years. But even if they don't, like, they can't set them all in the 90s. They're gonna have to deal with it eventually.
Yeah.
They could do more than 7 years.
That's
they could do 2004 when the Red Sox won the World Series.
That would be.
They could do 2012 where they're actually stopping the end of the world again.
That would be good
too.
Amen.
But this time they're stopping the Incas from destroying it.
In specific, they keep bringing it back to ancient Mesoamerica.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a Mesopotamia movie now. We've already done European history and all that. We gotta bring it back.
I gotta see the Polynesians or the Australian Aboriginals. I think that's what we're going next.
Amen. What is their direct? So there we've had the Maximals, we've had the Dinobots, and of course we have the regular Transformers.
It's time for humanoid robots that turn into cars, but again, fight as the cars, not as the humanoids.
We have to first pitch it to Hasbro.
Just call
no, this is exactly how it ties into cars.
Exactly.
They breed with a car, and then they make the cars from Radiator Springs.
Oh my God, the Transformers Cars crossover. That's what this world needs.
Queen gets to race Optimus Prime. Actually, Mac is Optimus Prime when he's retired.
Hasbro, you just give us a call. Well, we're all down.
We're all in.
Yeah.
And don't worry, we're not part of the Raiders Union. We can start working right now.
Amen. It's like I probably won't scab, but like see how much money you can get.
Yeah,
yeah. Give us a call is all we're saying.
Hashtag WGA strong.
All right. I think we probably said all we have to say about Transformers.
Yeah.
At least this installment of it. I think consensus is better than the couple previous ones, excluding a couple like mainline.
The Michael Bay ones.
I'd give this a second or third place behind Bumblebee and I don't know, probably
the first.
I don't even think the first Transformers is like the first one's not that good.
I disagree.
No, but it's better than the other ones.
But yeah, it's like better because it's the first one.
Yeah, I think that explains a lot about Transformers. Is that, like I said earlier, that like it's just the story of them like coming to Earth either by mistake or through one kind of freak thing landing here, and so the first one's from that story perspective is always going to be the best. And then
I don't mind the Transformers parts. I think it's the other shots Michael Bay put in.
The shy look.
That's fair.
The Megan Fox shots. I mean, like I guess I appreciate them to a certain extent, but it's like, did you need to do that? Did we really?
Very fair critique. So next flight you're on, I think definitely give this one a watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or any of the others.
It'll probably already be on there.
Also, I wanted to say the runtime of this one pretty reasonable.
Yes.
Versus
thank God.
Last night was like 245 or something, and this was I think 206.
Yeah. Last night was
Last night had like a 30-minute intro where they're taking down, I don't know, they're helping King Arthur.
Yeah, it started with a battle at Hastings.
Transformer Dragon.
Yeah.
And a drunken Merlin or something. I don't know.
Yes.
Yep, Stanley Tucci, right?
Yeah, he's drunk.
So all the credit to them for realizing that they didn't need that extra 45 minutes to make a movie that you would like. If that movie was 45 minutes longer, it absolutely would have been worse. Like there was
yes. It ended right when it needed to.
Yep.
Just a little under your plane trip, which is perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, I think your flight from from like Boston to not Boston to DC isn't long enough. Probably Boston to Atlanta, Boston to Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll get
Like
you.
from Maryland to Miami, it's about 2 hours, 2.5, somewhere in there.
Yeah, so there you go. Next time you're flying to Miami, which I know you do quite often, Ben, you can
Yeah.
pop this one on the screen in front of you.
Yeah. Amen.
Just sit back and relax.
Amen.
All right. I don't know what movie you guys are doing next week, so I can't announce
Oh
that.
man, I don't know. Oh, we're doing
the Flash.
The Flash, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Flash.
I did know that.
Then Venmo me.
Or you guys can figure that part out off air.
Yeah.
But all right, so I guess come back next week for the Flash. Let us know what you thought of Transformers if you've seen it, or when you're flying next if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
And as always, leave your ideas for Broken Chess variants as well in the comments. And those guys minus me, we'll see you next week.
All right. See ya.